Hello? Hello?
Hello, am I speaking with Mr. Sadir?
Yeah. Tell me who is this?
I got your profile for RPA position.
Oh, okay.
Is it right time to take technical interview, Mr. Sadir?
Yeah. So you can take a technical interview now.
Explain about your project.
My current project is like a it is like a salary payslips system. So basically, so the accountant team has a all the employees' salaries details into the one Excel. Every month one Excel is there. So that Excel they will fill and they will drag into the one folder, one common shared folder. So the robots, so whenever they usually fill that month employee salaries. So each record is a one employee salary, employee details with the salary. The salary details in the Excel. Each record is a one employee salary details, and they will fill that Excel and paste into that particular folder, copy into the particular folder in the first of the every month. The robot we schedule in the second of the every month. So basically, so what will happen in the second of the every month? So robot will read all the Excel records for that particular month. That means previous month. Okay, so suppose for example this is a May, it will read the April dot xlsx. Okay, so the details of the Excel does not have a employee email IDs. There is a common email master Excel is there. So the robot will read the Excel each and every record. The record has the employee ID and the month, which month this is, and the PAN number, and all the gross salary and deductions. Each and every information is there in the each and every cell. So for single record is a one employee details of that particular month salary slip. So what the robot will do, the robot will take a template. So there is a document template is there, MS Word template is there. The document template is like a payslip template. It has a empty template, that means template with the empty values. Okay, so the table is there, and company header, company logo, the signature, everything is there. But the wherever the values will change, that means month name and salary, basic salary, HIA, so all the deductions and gross salary, net salary, everywhere there is some the variables, that means some tags are there. So what we will do, we will read the data from the Excel, and we will take the copy of the that template, document template, docx, as another copy with the employee ID dot docx. So, and we will fill all the information from the Excel to the document. Once we fill all the information from the document, the actual that month, that means previous month salary slip is ready. Okay, so once we converted that template to the actual payslips with actual values from the Excel, and we will convert that document to the PDF. So once we convert that into the PDF document to the PDF, that is a payslips, actual payslip. Okay, this payslip we will send a mail to that particular employee by searching the current employee email ID. So from the email master Excel. So we will go to the email master, the corresponding email ID for that particular employee ID. We will pick that one, and we will send the mail to the particular person. So that is my current project. So like a it involves like a so Excel automation, email automation, Word automation, PDF automation, these things and all. Okay.
Okay, what is Orchestrator?
Orchestrator is basically used to store the assets and create a robots, monitor the robots, and that means maintain the queues. So, okay, so create a missions, robots, and jobs. So you can trigger the jobs, schedule the jobs, these things and all. So this is basically Orchestrator is a cloud-based thing. So on-premise is also there. So you can just monitor orchestration part actually. So this is the orchestrator. Uh,
What is assets?
Okay, in the orchestrator there is a assets concept is there. So the assets is basically a variables, but we are storing into the cloud. Suppose for example in the normally if we store the variable the values so you can keep in the Excel also, but if you keep in the Excel, so it should not use for the another process, right? So again you have to take another copy and use the same access the commonly used values. Suppose for example URL may change tomorrow and the passwords will change tomorrow, right? So wherever the values may change tomorrow, so suppose for example database connection string will change, may change. Okay, so wherever you feel that there might be a chance to change, so it is better to store the values so into the assets, because so assets you can easily change from the cloud. So it's a web application, so the users can log in. I mean, any technical team is can log in and change the values whenever it is they are supposed to. Currently it is taking value input values from the excel which is there in the C drive. Tomorrow if you want to change that excel in the D drive, so it is very easy to change that path if you create an asset for that. Create assets are basically the variables. It is storing the values, but it is storing the values in the cloud. That's it. um, and also security purpose.
You explain value per bot in assets.
Okay, value per in the actually in the assets there is a two types of assets are there. So the one is a single value, another one is a value per bot. So if we are creating the asset, so it will take like a normally single value and value per bot. So value per bot is it's a global value. If you just switch on the global value, it is a common value per all the bots. Suppose you are doing the same process and running in the multiple robots. Okay, so but the multiple robots, robot to robot, the value will should change, but the asset name should be same. So in that cases, where you will use a value per bot. Okay, so value per bot. So you can select the robot and the value. So which value you want to assign. Suppose for example, some systems, some web applications, you're using the web application credentials or the URL is changed from the dev environment to the production and production environment to the UAT. So all the three UAT and dev and production, so the URLs are different. Suppose, then just imagine. So in the same process, we can't change it continuously whenever you deploy into the production. So change the value into the. So instead of that, if you create a value per bot, okay, in the same asset value per bot for the production, so you're just using the something like a abc.com is a one URL. So if you add that, so again if you add for the another robot, so something like a adding the different values per each bot in the same asset. And one more thing is so you have a different type of things like a you can store the single value and also the value per bot as it is. The data types also you have a text, boolean, integer. These are all the single values. And credential is also there. Assets is a very important. We can store the credentials in the cloud very securely. So that is a main purpose of the value per
How
bot.
many wise to publish package into Orchestrator?
Can you please repeat again?
How many wise to publish package into Orchestrator?
Okay, so ways to publish into the orchestrator. So yeah, so there is a so in the studios, from the studio. So if you just click on the publish button, once everything is done, so if you click on the publish button, you can publish the packages into the orchestrator automatically. Once the robot and orchestrator is connected together, and so sending the heartbeats. So then if we just click on the publish button from the studio, so you can publish to the orchestrator, the processor packages basically. So that is one way. Another way is also from the orchestrator you can click on the upload, and so from the upload, so you can just upload the .NUGET packages from the studio itself. So there is a two ways. So two ways you can upload from the orchestrator. So if you have a .NUGET package, so that mean you can publish in the locally, and so that local package is a single file, that is a .NUG package, .NUGET package. So you can upload that file into the orchestrator packages panel, packages area, so by just clicking the upload button. So that is one way. Other way is just simply click on the publish button from the orchestrator. That is a one thing.
What are the status of robot?
Okay, so the statuses of the robot is like so it's a connected, disconnected, and it's available. First of all, so if everything is working fine, so everything is working fine. So the both are sending the heartbeats. The UiPath robot and orchestrator, that system tray. In the system tray, the robot is there. So if the robot, system tray robot, and the orchestrator is connected together, so sending the heartbeats, everything is perfectly fine. Then the status of the robot is available. Okay, the robot is running and also it is not running any processes. So because if it is running in any processor, the status will change to the busy state. Okay, if there is no processes is running and the robot is connected properly, then the status of the robot is available. If any robot is running any process, then the status of the robot is going to the busy state. So the another thing is unresponsive. Unresponsive is like a robot and orchestrator has not communicated in the last 2 minutes. From the last 2 minutes, the robot and orchestrator is not communicated. The default scenario is the value will be going to the unresponsive, and the value, the 2 minutes value, you can change in the web.config file into your configuration in the system. And the last status, there is a four statuses. The last status is a disconnected. The robot service is not running in your system. Then the status of the robot is disconnected. One is available, busy, and unresponsive, disconnected. So these are all the four statuses are there in the basically the robot page. That means in the orchestrator. Okay, that is a
What
thing.
happened if robot is busy with other process, if we run another process?
Okay, you're asking about what happened if the robot, so if the robot is already running the process in the middle of the running, so before completing that current process, if you run another process, what will happen? This is the one.
Okay.
This is the one you are asking. This is the one you are asking.
Yes.
Okay, so if the robot is busy state, so basically if the robot is busy state, so if the robot is running in the one process, the robot is a busy. Okay, in the same time, so if you run the another process, so it will wait. The process will wait up to that robot is a free. Up to the robot is available, so it won't I mean disturb the current process. But even though if we schedule the robots, suppose 1 hour back one robot is scheduled, it takes a 1 hour. After 1 hour you schedule another process, so this will take another time. But unfortunately the first process is taken more than 1 hour. So what will happen? So the nothing will happen, so it will wait. Robot will, the mean process will wait. It will go to the pending state. The job will go to the pending state, and once the robot is free from the first process, and the robot picks the the second next process, it is not a problem. That's it.
How many type of triggers you have?
Okay, so triggers in the sense in the orchestrator, in the UiPath orchestrator, we have two types of triggers are there. So basically one is a basically schedule. So two types of triggers. One is a time-based triggers. So based on the time, so you can schedule the trigger the process. So based on the in the triggers panel, you can schedule the trigger based on the time. The time in the sense, so you can schedule every 1 hour or every day, the 5 o'clock or at any time. So every suppose a minutely, hourly, or so every daily you can schedule, or only weekends you can schedule, or weekdays you can schedule. So it's like based on our requirements. So suppose the robot has to run every month, so every second month, so you can schedule. Okay, and also there is advanced schedule is also there. There is a cron expression. So there is a cron expressions are there. Suppose for example, every second Saturday, every second month, third Saturday, it has to run. This kind of complex kind of things are there. So then we have to go for the advanced cron expressions. That is a one trigger. Another one trigger is the second trigger is like a queue trigger. So whenever the new item added to the queue, so it automatically triggers the another process. There is a new trigger like a there is a two types of triggers. One is a schedule based triggers, next one is a queue based trigger. So if any start a job when a new item are added to the queue, so that is a two types of triggers. um,
Where can we see the running process?
Sorry, so what you are asking?
Where can we see the running process?
Okay, so running processes you can see in the jobs panel. So all the jobs which is running, so those things and all we will see in the jobs panel. So wherever the jobs are there, all the statuses when it is started, when it is ended, so whether it is a success or fail or pending and is running, so how much time it takes. All the jobs, so all the processes which is running, so whether it is a trigger by the scheduler or it is a trigger by the agent, so from the system tray, or we manually trigger from the jobs page. So any place you are triggering, so the all the processes we can see in the triggers jobs page.
Where can you see the environment page?
Environment page. So if you can go to the robots and under maintenance, if you can go to the robots page, so under robots page there is a page called environment. Okay, so there we can create a environment. So this is an environment. So there is a under robots page, there is another page called after robots. So there is a environment. There we can see.
How to create process?
Creating the process is uh, creating the process is like a the combination of the environment. So before creating, so basically the process is a combination of three things. So one is a environment, another one is a what process, and what version of that particular package. So basically the where and what and which version. So where means which environments, I mean where it is running in the environment. We have to select the environment for environment, and what is the what package we are running, the package, what package, and what version of that package we are running, and which environment we are running. So that is a combination of the package, version of the package, and environment. This is a combination of these three is called basically say this is a uh, process. So this is a process, so the combination of these three.
Package version 1.0 is running in Orchestrator. If we publish new version 2.0 for same package, is it update automatically?
No, no, it's not update automatically. So if you already some 1.0 is running in the orchestrator, so in the ETA schedule. So if you run the second, if you publish the second package portion, next version, so it won't run automatically. We have to manually go to the processes, and we have to update the version. So based on our requirement, once we go to the processes, so we can update the package version. It's not do automatically. Yeah.
What is queues?
Basically, the queues is a workload management. So it's a workload management. So workload balance. So basically, so it will like a queue is a really excellent concept. So it is like a first in first out, first come first serve concept. But this is taking care of the all the things taken care of the taken care by the orchestrator. So basically, so the queue has items. Whenever the robot is asking one item by using get transaction item, it will give the item, and the key changing the statuses based on the situation, and updating the statuses to success and progress. Everything is taking care of the orchestrator. The queue is basically the workload management. Suppose, for example, if we have a multiple records, so to process, so one robot is taking a lot of time. So if you take the another robots, how to push the values, that means push the items, so the transaction items to the each and every robot. So that is taking care of the orchestrator queue. That is basically.
How to add new transaction.
You mean new transaction? Can you please repeat again?
How to add new transaction queues.
New transaction in queues, right? New transaction in where? New transaction.
How to add new transaction in queues.
Okay, okay. So we can add the new transaction in queues by just adding the add queue item. There is an add queue item. Okay, so by using the add queue item, so you can add the new transaction to the queue. That is adding the new transaction. So okay, so that is a add new transaction. So by using the add queue item, there is a activity called add queue item. So by using that add queue item, so you can use you can just add the new transaction item to the queue.
What is the status of the transaction item in the queue once you add?
Okay, so once we add the new transaction item from the robot, so by using the add queue item, the transaction status in the queue automatically goes for the new. So this will go to the transaction status automatically go to the new. That is a initial status. So that means it is not yet started. Okay.
If you use get transaction item activity, then what is the status of transaction item in queue?
If you use the get transaction item activity, so the transaction item status automatically go to the that mean in progress. So it's a in progress. So if you add the in progress, that is the in progress is a status.
What is retry status and how to set retry count?
So retry is like a, so in the queues while we are adding the new queue item queue name, it will ask for the retry count. So what is the retry count in the sense? If any failure happens, basically if any transaction is failed, suppose for example if it's a failed because of the system exception, so it automatically retries those many times. So before that we have to set the retry count, so those many number of times it will retry in the orchestrator from the
Difference
orchestrator.
between add queue item and add transaction item.
Okay, so the difference between the add queue item and add transaction item is basically if you use the add queue item, it will add the new item. The status should be a new, and if you use the add transaction item, so it will add the item to the queue, and immediately it will go to the in progress state of that particular transaction, and the output of the add transaction item is a queue item. Okay, basically if where we are using the add transaction item, uh, add transaction item we are using wherever it is a high priority emergency. So even though queue has a lot of new items, so if you want to handle a high priority transaction, so you can add to the queue, and immediately it will go to the in progress and process that transaction. So even though a lot of new items are waiting in the queue, so that is a high priority. If you have a high priority on that thing, so so if you have a high priority, that is there is an emergency. So suppose, for example, in the hospital, there is a lot of patients are waiting. So even though, so if the emergency case comes, they will go to the they will take the OP and go for the treatment, right? Even though a lot of new patients are waiting. So in the same situation here also in the queue. So even though a lot of queue items are there waiting, so to process, so but the any emergency high priority item is there, then definitely you can use a add transaction item. Add queue item is basically a it will do
Okay,
the
okay.
okay, yeah.
I am done with my interview. Do you have any questions to me?
So when can I get the feedback of this interview?
Okay, we will update you the status.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye. Have a great day, Mr. Sadir.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day to you. Bye.